Welcome to the Anxiety Coaches Podcast, a relaxing and informative show where we explore anxiety, panic, and PTSD, sharing how you can overcome them for life.
Aloha! Welcome back to the Anxiety Coaches Podcast. I'm your host and coach, Gina Ryan, and I am so happy to be with you again today as together we can consider the many ways to bring your mind and body back to its natural peace and calm. We offer a number of ways to help you with your journey here at Anxiety Coaches Podcast, and I hope you will take advantage of everything that we offer. Be sure to subscribe to this twice-a-week podcast. I'd also suggest visiting our website where you can sign up for our newsletter, you can listen to the 10-minute body scan meditation, and check out the group and one-on-one coaching options, along with the resources and more information on anxiety. Go to anxietycoachespodcast.com and check all that out today. In today's episode, I want to talk about 8 signs of stress overload. So many different ways that we can be running into our stress and having it overload. But I'm surprised, even with summer here, with most of my listeners, that there's still a lot of stress happening. And stress comes not from only challenging things, problems, issues, but also from any change that we have to make. And summer brings a lot of change. So perhaps this is why I'm hearing so much about the overload of stress. And I don't even mean just from my own email clients and group members, but from the general public, and actually articles that I'm getting that are coming across my own desk. So let's get into it a little bit. Stress. And how we get overloaded and what we can do. Stress is just what it is. It's a fact of life. It actually has things that help us grow. We can't live a life without stress. So we don't need to demonize it. We just need to make sure we don't become so far off on the continuum of stress that we are what we call overloaded and moved into things such as anxiety and health difficulties. Stress is a fact of life, but it doesn't have to bring you down. You don't have to go down the wormhole. One of the things you can do is to stay ahead of it by learning a lot of the things that we talk about here, ways to actually manage your life so that your stress does not go out of control, and understanding the things that you cannot control and not worrying and being over concerned about things that are not within your circle of influence. And this is a big problem, of course, with so much that goes on with the internet. So many things are brought to us that we have not only do we have no way of helping, but we have it in front of us all the time so that we begin to feel helpless and we begin to feel that we need to do something. And for many people, when there's nothing else they can do, they worry. And we become overly concerned. And a lot of things in life begin to annoy us. And that can set us up, right? We don't want certain things going on. It's annoying. We can't control it. We have to learn how to let these kinds of things go. And we have a lot of podcasts here that talk about how to do that. But there are things you can control. And one of the biggest things is how you react. All of us can control this. And that is how we manage our lives so that we do not become overloaded with stress. Let's talk about some of the really common things that people get stressed out about. So you don't have to feel so alone. You don't have to think everybody else has it all together. These are the most common. Now, of course, we all have our own recipe for our stress and anxiety and what gets us there, but these are the most common. Everyone has stress in different ways and for different reasons, but there are some causes that almost everyone can relate to. Here are the top 5. Money, work, relationships, personal health problems, and then finally, family health problems. So this really encompasses many, many things, most of our lives. And so we can see where in there we have control and where in there we don't have control. Since all of these are common issues, it's not surprising that so many people in this world have stress. And like I said earlier, stress is a part of life. It's how we grow. It's actually how we find new ideas. It's how we implement new ways of doing things. And we want to be sure to not demonize stress. It's nothing that needs to be eradicated from your life or moved away from, because you can handle it. There are many resources and there's a lot of support out there, and this podcast is one of them. I hope that you continue to listen, even if the show doesn't look like it's a subject that you really are needing in that moment. Just let it play. Listen, see if there aren't some things you can tuck away for the future, or maybe for somebody you know and love. Too much stress. Let's talk about the effects of having too much stress, having the actual overload, and why we want to stay away from going there. If we can detect our own signs and sensations of early stress, we can not go down the wormhole. We can take a different route. And this is what we learn when we pay attention and we become aware. And a lot of that awareness comes from many of the things we do here, and specifically from slowing your life down enough at least once a day in a time of meditation so you can see what is going on in your mind, because there you do have some control. Some of the effects are things like feeling tired and drained, a sense of being overwhelmed. These are early signs. You want to pay attention to this. Immune system maybe not keeping up, catching frequent colds. Anxiety, panic, PTSD, that's moving way down the continuum. Hopelessness, loneliness, a lack of motivation or focus. Trouble controlling your temper or being really short with people, yourself included. We have to find what we can do, because we can learn these early detections, such as feeling drained and tired. I have another podcast, or I know it's a skill sheet. I'm not sure if it's a podcast yet. Maybe that's yet to come. HALT. So it's taken from the 12-step program of, if you are hungry, if you are angry, if you are lonely, or you are tired, those are signs that you are moving along on the stress continuum. Now, those come naturally, but when you feel those, you don't just keep pushing through. We need to take care of ourselves. We need to address all of those things. So if you want to pay attention and see if that podcast comes out, it's really important to be able to catch this stuff early. And HALT is a good way to remember that. Am I hungry? Am I angry? Am I lonely? Am I tired? And take a step back and take care of yourself so that you can continue on without adding more stress into your life. Now, we all get overstressed sometimes. We all get overwhelmed. But too much stress can be really, really hard on our health. And so this is one of the other reasons, besides the obvious reason that anxiety and panic just feel horrible to have to live with. The other thing is that too much stress leading us to anxiety and panic are really not good for our health, physical, mental, and spiritually. So when we are paying attention, we can see that too much stress is just being hard on our health. And so here are some of the ways that we can offset some of the negative effects and implement these healthy habits to help you stay a little more centered, a little more grounded, and not so quick to fall down the wormhole that can just keep us in a state of overwhelm and anxiety. one of the things you want to do is to be able to move your body, work some of that tension out. Summertime is a great time to do this because we may be out a little bit more. Maybe you're tired from being physically active. Maybe you're not tired from too much stress. You have to be able to be in tune with your mind and body enough to be able to tease that out. And again, we come to that place of understanding ourselves so well through meditation, from taking that time daily to just be with our own mind and body. So again, if you're feeling that you've got stress going on, use the physical body, work that stress out, because stress can create a vicious cycle between the mind and the body. Like I always say, the conversation goes both ways. And exercise can help to break the cycle by relieving some tension and releasing those feel-good hormones. So you just actually feel better. You worked it out. You got a little lift. And sometimes that's all we need in order to keep going without feeling so down on ourselves. Another thing that you can do, and we can all do this regardless of whether we can go and be active and physical, and that can be when we are recovering from an illness or an accident or have had an injury. We can't always go out and be as hard and physical as we like, but this next tip we can all do, and we can take a break to do our belly breathing, to do our Buddha breathing. And you do this often enough with your intention and your awareness on it, you will find that this becomes your natural way to breathe. And that is a godsend because you don't need to be so conscious of it all the time. You are actually keeping yourself in a state of more relaxation because of the way you are breathing. So what I want you to do again, I'll remind you of the Buddha belly breathing, is just to relax that belly. Let it relax. Let it hang out. It's okay. It's better to feel good than to look good, believe me. And no one cares. They're all too worried about their own belly. So let it relax. Wear clothes that let your belly relax. And then when you breathe in, your lungs can fill deeper. We usually are breathing from the upper 1/3 of our lungs, which just keeps us in a state of stress. But when our belly relaxes, the full lung can expand, and it expands down and back and wide. And all of that new lung capacity puts pressure on our diaphragm. It flattens the diaphragm out. And that stimulates the vagus nerve, which is a direct line to the brain saying all is well. So please put on some belly breathing if you are heading down the stress continuum. And finally, the last tip I want to give you is to unplug. Oh, I know. It's the one no one wants to hear, but unplug. And I could go on and on about this. I've been on this since my children, who are well into their adult lives, were in grammar school. And that was unplugging from the television. We didn't even ever dream that we would have little computers in our pockets. But we need to unplug. We need to come to understand who we are as individuals, as human beings, without being influenced, whether it is overtly or not. We don't want to be influenced by advertisers, by other people in the world that want us to think or believe a certain way. We want to take some time out to be who we are in nature. Even if nature is a city block for you, get outside and look up at the sky. We all have this opportunity. It's important to unplug. And I see it more and more and more, the difficulty people are having sleeping. And so much of it is tied into our screens. Also what we're seeing on the screens, but very much it is involved with the light. So I want you to just unplug them. Today, we're not going to get into all the reasons and the hows and the whys of how that's helpful and beneficial for you. I just want you to just do it. Unplug. back in the day when it was a television in our school district that we had the schools turn off their televisions for a week, we called it unplugging the plug-in drug. And I think we didn't even have a clue as to what was possible, as to what we are carrying around now with our little screens. We all have them, we all use them, and we want to make them useful for our lives, and we want to be the masters of them. I'm just saying unplug so that they do not begin to be adding stress and discomfort to your life. So I hope that those tips are helpful for you. Again, you want to work out the tension. You want to go out and use your muscles, sweat, do it, run, jump, hike, swim, whatever it is. The next one is that you want to use your belly breathing. Let yourself have that Buddha belly and let the diaphragm stimulate your vagus nerve so that you can be getting that message from your body that all is well. And then finally, unplug. Unplug so that you as an individual and a human being can recharge fully. I hope that's helpful, and I hope that you will be listening regularly. And if you enjoy the show, please make sure you hop on over to our Patreon page. You can find that on our website, anxietycoachespodcast.com. I love you all, and I look forward to our next time together. Before I read today's quote, I was wondering if you prefer the show without ads, or perhaps you might like to have access to the entire back catalog of over 600 episodes. Maybe you'd like some bonus meditation episodes. All of that and more are available for $5 a month with our premium Supercast membership. Go to anxietycoaches.supercast.com and join us ad-free today. The link will be in the show notes. And now for today's quote. Great necessities call out great virtues. And that's from Abigail Adams. I'll be back in a few more days with another podcast. Until then, be well and aloha.
Thanks so much for joining us for today's episode of the Anxiety Coaches Podcast. Find more information at theanxietycoachespodcast.com.